balls are solid, man. Carl. Jesus. Say something. Hey. Carl. This Carl freaking head blaster, man. I never thought that I'd see this guy again. Yes. Wow. Good Lord. I'll never look at street people the same way.
No.
Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to episode number 59.
59
of the Doomgoryum Report, brought to you by the guys from Doomgoryum's Horror Emporium.
Yes. Axe.
Hap.
And Carl Headblaster.
The one and the only.
Yes.
Carl Headblaster.
Rocking out.
Over here we got Colonel Jim.
Jim.
He's been feeling a little bit sick since New Year's Eve because he was partying too hard and ate a lot of food over the Christmas. Can't tell, but he did eat a lot. Anyways, and tonight's episode number 59 is
which is only 10 digits away from my favorite number. Anyways,
that was yeah, and it is part of the John Carpenter classic film review, and it is one that maybe some of you haven't heard of. I don't know, but it's Prince of Darkness.
Yes.
From 1987.
Yes.
Let me get the particulars here.
Back in the John Carpenter heyday when he was
probably
out great movies.
Probably getting to the end of it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But anyways, in the cast, of course, you got John Carpenter as a director and everything else. In the cast, you've got Donald Pleasance as Priest.
Anyone in close proximity has the same dream.
Yep.
Jameson Parker from Simon & Simon.
A life form is growing out of prebiotic fluid. It's not winding down into disorder. It's self-organizing. It's becoming something. What?
For Simon & Simon, good people out there as Brian Marsh. Victor Wong.
There's a weird locking mechanism. Looks like it can only be opened from the inside.
Professor Howard Bierak. Lisa Blout as Catherine Danford. Dennis Dunn as Walter. Susan Blanchard as Kelly. Anne Marie Howard as Susan Cabot, Ann Yen as Lisa, and Ken Wright as Lomax.
And my favorite character, Alice Cooper.
His power.
Alice Cooper, yes.
Yes,
Don't forget Alice Cooper.
We can't forget about him. He's not actually in the credit list, but yeah, Alex Cooper does have an interesting role.
Yep.
As the
makeup that they had to put on that guy to make him look normal was
as the head of the
the head bum.
It started a month ago. What started?
The head bum. Prince of Darkness.
Yes.
I am the head of the homeless.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to start off?
Sure, it was actually my first time seeing it. I was blown away. It was so many elements to it that just stood out for me. I love John Carpenter for his endings, and this one definitely did not disappoint. And the special effects on the woman that was the chosen one, when she was all bloodied up like that, was skin crawling. But yeah, it was wicked.
Yeah,
I loved it.
Yeah, the special effects is definitely it's back in the days of just doing it with whatever you had, no CGI here. You've got sort of the story kind of like being the church has been hiding this apparatus that contains a swirling sort of
viscous goo
that essentially is taking on a life, and
the massive kale shake in the basement of the church.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. It's like it looks like the smoothies we've been making down here in the dungeon, but so it's growing, and it's kind of evil does that from time to time. Take it from us, it's sucking in followers and all these street people are drawn to this church that it's hidden in, and
Spitting
but
evil juices.
preys
in
on the
people's
weak.
mouth.
I found when I watched it for the first time, anyways, that and anytime I've watched it since, there's a real sort of sense of eerie sort of desolation around it. You know,
Yeah.
like they had to do it. He does a really great job of making it seem like all is lost because
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
like the location of that church, it's really it's desperate looking, you know, and so I don't know. There's kind of I thought it was a really good job of creeping you out, and the whole you know, back when we were young, anyways, 1987, even then, you know, anything that had to do with, you know, the devil or you know, that sort of evil was quite chilling,
Yep.
and to me still is. But you know,
I actually loved how it had the aura of unstoppable evil. It's like, how do you battle it?
Right.
It was exactly hopelessness.
how do you battle it?
It was wicked.
Right here, kids. But anyways,
Victor Wong and his bad goatee. That's how you battle it.
yeah.
And Donald Pleasant, who whines through the entire movie, yet saves the day at the end. With
He is an amazing whiner.
one throw. Yes, he is. You know, I got to tell you, and I love Donald Pleasance in Escape
Halloween.
from New York
Oh.
and Halloween, but I hated him in Halloween 5 because he did the same thing he did in this movie, and it was just he just whined the whole way. He's not a good whiner. You know what I mean? He's a better doctor trying to, you know what I mean, like tell the story of Michael Myers or, you know, protect. You know what I mean? And he's just when he gets cast in a position where he's got to, it's awful. But aside from that, this movie is great, and I love it. I'm a big fan of the old creepy churches, and this one, that room where the ninja spinach shake or spinach smoothie is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The giant couch.
Yes, it's fantastic. I mean that set alone is worth its weight in gold in this
Yeah.
movie. It just makes it. And again, I said this in the previous review for
The
Fog. The score in this film, you know, if there's one thing John Carpenter hits the nail on the head, is his scoring his films. Because he does the music himself, and I don't think I've seen a movie he's done and scored that hasn't been
Good.
He just that makes before he jumped the shark with Ghosts of Mars. You know, leading up to then, he didn't make a bad movie, in my opinion. Anyways, I mean, you got Mouth of Madness, both Halloweens, The Fog, The Thing.
Thing,
you know,
Jesus.
yeah, and he scored them all, and it just sucks you in, and it gives you goosebumps.
And again, he puts like he always had those classic elements, like as we talked about in the Fog about the classic ghost story parts. But in this one, you've got this church in a rundown section of a big city, but underneath it, you've got this vault that's been there since the 1500s.
Yeah.
The Spanish made, you know, it's got this kind of he's always putting stuff like that into it, you know. And even the opening scene, again, the priest who's been guarding the secret,
Yeah.
dying on his deathbed and having the box in his hand with the key, like it's just really cool the way he used to do stuff.
He's
But-
a great storyteller. He is one of the classic
So.
all-time horror directors and you know storytellers. I mean, it's a shame that he's kind of his last couple of movies went the way they did, but up until that point, he really was like he is a master of horror.
The other thing I like about this flick too is it seemed as if maybe it's because it was the late '80s or something, and he figured maybe I'll have to put some some twist on it instead of it just being the religious side. You've got Victor Wong and all the researchers in there
Scientific front.
giving him the scientific side. That was
Yep.
kind of a cool battle between Victor Wong and Donald Pleasance trying to come to terms with what it was.
Yep.
You know how they each looked at it, which was
Science
pretty
and
cool.
religion unite.
Yep.
But
I actually must say, I really loved the scene. Probably the best scene for me out of the whole movie was when that woman was reaching through the mirror. And it's, I don't know, to me, like, either, like, there's movies that'll show, like, the devil, like, up in front, like, you just see him, or you don't see him at all.
Right.
But I loved how, like, this was just, like, this massive, disgusting arm that was trying to, like, come into our world through this portal of the mirror. It was very effective, and it definitely made me crap myself.
Yeah, and
Yes,
it makes
that
you
happens sometimes
and
in
it makes
a
you
heated
wonder
battle.
too. Yeah, like where did she go when she went through the mirror? Do you know what I mean? Like, what is that world beyond the mirror?
Exactly.
That would be awesome.
Thank God he didn't make a a sequel, because it
Yes.
would have wrecked it.
Yeah, for sure.
So what are your thoughts on the ratings here, guys?
I don't know. I hate to sound like a broken record, but I'll have to give it 10 giant evil kale shakes out of 10 giant evil kale shakes.
Giant evil kale shakes. Nice. I got to give it an 8. I love this movie, but Donald Pleasance, love him to, God rest his soul. He just whined too much in this movie. Yes, the conversations, the arguments back and forth with him and Victor Wong were fantastic, but he really made him into kind of a pussy in this movie, and I didn't really, that was the only part of this movie I didn't like, was that just how much of a kind of cowering wimp he was. You know what I mean? But other than that, this 8 for me, 8.5. This really is fantastic, except for that little.
I'm going to go with an 8.5 on this one.
There you go.
Sure. So,
Yeah.
so there you go. Pretty solid reviews. 8.5, 8, and 10.
10 kale shakes.
Right here in the dungeon, folks. You heard it here first.
Yes.
Well, maybe you heard it somewhere else, but you probably didn't hear it as brought to you with as much class and aplomb as
Horror
we have
professionalism.
down here. Yes, that's
Much
correct.
passion and blue wigs.
And we can keep those evil street people away from you. And just see what happens if Alice Cooper comes down here. I'll
Yes.
pick that guy up and throw him right through that wall. But anyways,
And the next time you walk by a homeless person and they have a cup full of dog shit with maggots in it, try to go the other way.
Yeah. Or a half a bicycle.
call us.
Yeah.
We'll deal with it. Okay. And on that note, stay tuned for some more, and stay scared,
Yes.
and fight evil. And we will see you soon down here in the dungeon.
Adios for now.
I think it's Carl.
It is Carl.
Actually